The Sketcho Show Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, up until now you've seen the creature perform the simple mechanics of motor activity, but for what you are about to see next, we must enter quietly into the realm of genius. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, Damen und Herren, from what was once an inarticulate mass of lifeless tissues, may I now present a cultured, sophisticated man about town. Hit it!
The Sketchomatic Show.
The Sketcho Show podcast back again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined today by a very special guest hailing from Fresno, California, but formerly of Los Angeles. Drove quite a ways to be here in person. We could have done this over Zoom, which we were previously planning, but I wanted to see my man in person. This is his first time on the podcast. He's a former DJ for Jo Koy, the comedian. He's also part owner of a restaurant we're going to talk about.
Wow.
And he's a phenomenal DJ and on-air talent at B95 in Fresno, California. That's where he's based. And he's regularly in Los Angeles because he is a Lakers aficionado. Without further ado, and of course, he brought his lovely girlfriend here too, which we'll chime in and see how she's doing. She's supposed to take some pics of us in the studio with her 1.5 camera, right? With the 3 lenses. 0.5. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to finally have John Magic! John Magic!
I was going to go, but I just realized that this podcast, you add it.
I do. But you can do it too.
It's wild to be finally on a podcast that I'm a fan of.
Aww.
So it's just crazy to actually be the guest on here. So I'm just thankful and grateful for you to invite me to be the next guest.
Bro, I've known you quite a long time, John Magic.
Yeah, we're former coworkers.
Yeah, we worked at Power 106 together here in Burbank, California, blur blank. And what year? I started in 98. When did you?
99.
Really? 99? That's when The Sopranos came out. I'm wearing
Yep.
a Sopranos sweater hoodie right now in honor of the 25th anniversary of The Sopranos. How you doing over here,
There
John?
it is, 1999.
Yeah, established in 1999. New Jersey.
You got to let them know why we're saying Noin.
Noin is because of Stern, obviously.
We both have the love
Gary.
for Stern.
Yeah, Gary Delabicio.
Yep.
Shout out to Gary D.
Yeah.
For the Noins.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a very regular fan of Howard Stern. I know
Same.
you are as well.
Yeah.
That's what the podcast is about, John Magic. It's about all of the aforementioned, the things that when I walking you up, I stated, part restaurant owner, former DJ of Jo Koy, touring DJ, right?
The life we live. What up? John Magic, Jo Koy. We're in downtown San Jose.
Kidding me?
Wait, where are we going?
Obviously on-air talent for iHeartMedia and based in Fresno, but you're in other markets as well.
B95, what up? J Magic over here, the new boys, Ben J, Legacy. You know who I got to shout out? You know who put me on game with you guys years ago? Is my homie DJ Aaron.
Oh, wait.
One of your show DJs sometimes.
He was our first DJ.
Yeah. So he put me on game with you guys years ago.
Oh, yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
I mean, you wear a lot of hats, man, and you've been in the game for what? How many? Like decades now?
Almost 25 years.
Look
or
at you.
This might be my well, let's do the math. I want that Stern, the thing that Stern does.
Oh, yeah, the calculator, that old ass calculator sound effect from Fred.
So can you do it? 1999 to
1999.
now. How many years have I been in radio?
Let's see.
Here we go.
I have to type it up like Stern.
Oh, I wanted you to do the Stern thing where he does the math.
Oh, and he goes, let's see, we take these.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He goes, all right, Robin, let's see. Right.
I love this.
You take the 9, the 9, and then you add another 9. That's 10 years. That would be 2009.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then another 9 would be 19. That's 20 years now. So we went from 10 to 20. That's over it. That's 2 decades.
There it is.
And then you add 4. That's 24. Almost 25 years.
There it is.
On the dot. Ladies and gentlemen, mathematics with John Magic.
Oh! I love it.
Mrs. Magic in the house.
That was great. I love it.
Yeah. So, John Magic, how long has it been since I've seen you in person? Was it at Power when we were doing close-up magic in the hallways?
Probably in person, yeah.
That's something else I needed to mention real quick. Let me just, as a sidebar, John Magic and I were both... Are you still into sleight of hand magic, close-up magic? Do you still...
I don't practice anymore, but obviously, you still know some things.
Yeah, it's like learning how to ride a bike.
The wild thing, I mean, I can't believe we're talking about magic right now, but I remember knowing so many awesome tricks, but I don't remember anymore.
With a regular deck of cards.
Yeah. But I still have a few.
I know the Triumph trick very well. Like I could, I've gotten so good at it that I can practically hand the deck of cards to the spectator and they do the magic. That's one of the versions that I learned. I like that close-up magic when it's right in front of the spectator and it's all, if it could be in their hands, 100%. That's the best kind of close-up magic there is. If you're using like cards and coins and shit like that. But when it comes to like what David Blaine or even what's his name, the Carbonaro effect. Have you seen that show?
Yep.
That guy's really dope because he does magic with like at seminars and he'll do like at a conference where he's set up in like a booth.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, try this water. This water's using a filter. But in this, and it's a clear cup, a clear plastic cup, and he'll go, this is our water. This is regular water you're seeing in this cup. And then he'll have another cup next to it. And he'll go, this is a cup with our filter, which is cleaner. And you could see the cup that doesn't have our filter. If you shake it a little, and as he's swirling the cup, it fills with goldfish.
Yes.
And I'm like, bro, what? Like, and he's not saying it's magic. He's not doing any of that. It's just like weird things happen while he's around. It's really cool. I like that dude. But I don't even know if you can consider him like a magician, even though he's doing magic. He's just using everyday object and weird. It's dope.
For sure. So you don't do as much anymore?
No, I used to be a member of the Magic Castle.
I was just that was one of my questions when I was driving up here was, I'm going to ask him if he could give me one of the invites.
I can get you in. I can get you in an invite.
Oh, there
it
is.
It's not hard. I know plenty of magicians that are
good.
I don't know if they'll really hook me up because I don't talk to any of them anymore. Not in a bad way. It's just people grow apart,
Same.
and I just don't like bothering people. Like we were talking off podcast air about not wanting to bother people. People used to hit me up that I didn't talk to for years. And then they found out I was a Magic Castle member. And they just go, I get a text from out of nowhere. Sketcheroo! What's up, brother? And I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, can you get me in the Magic Castle for like me and 15 of my friends? And I'm like, all right. But do they go, hey, do you want to join us? No. It's just like, really? But it's very LA.
Yeah.
It's very LA. Just, I know I'm not a member. I couldn't afford it. I just bought a car, and then I was like, either you sacrifice you have a new car, brand new, is the first car I ever bought, same car as you, Kia
Optima.
Hybrid Optima,
there
2017, but mine was black with tinted windows. It was very dope, and I bought that, but then I had to sacrifice the Magic Castle membership because it's expensive. It's like $700 a year. It's probably even more now.
So this is big news for me because I listen to your podcast and you talk about not having a car.
Yeah,
is this recent?
No, I sold the car.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I had to make another sacrifice because I moved to back to Burbank.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I live across the street from Warner Brothers. I'm not going to lie. It's a very bougie, clean, posh neighborhood, considering I live in a studio apartment in a duplex setting.
Yeah.
But it has its own washer and dryer in it. It's only a small room that's probably about like the size of the studio that we're in, maybe a little bit bigger. And it has its own kitchen next to it in its own room and a washer and dryer, stand-up bath. It's like a phone booth bathroom, but it's bomb. I mean, look, I'm like a giraffe.
Bro, that's how I live in the studio as well too.
You do? But
Yeah.
I've seen posts of it looks like a loft. It looks like a loft in downtown LA.
A little bit. I love the hotel room vibe. So that's what I was going for. Because I've never lived in a studio apartment. So just making the best out of a small space.
Bro, I love your area that you live in because you're right off the boulevard, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you have, it's like you're right there. It's a parade. You get a front row seat.
Yep.
And how far is it from the Standard where you DJ? Is it Standard in Fresno?
Yeah, I DJ a few spots there, but Standard is one of my spots. It's not far. Everything is pretty close unless you're going to a different city in the 559, which that's what they call the Fresno area, the 559. Like there's a city, Visalia, that I DJ at. That's about a 30-minute drive, but everything is basically, all the clubs are 15, 20 minutes away.
Damn.
Yeah.
And shout out to Jizzo, who's also part. And speaking of which, I didn't even mention this as I was walking you up. I said a bunch of other stuff, but I didn't mention you're a podcaster. This Could Get Me Fired podcast, which is probably one of the most genius names of a podcast that I've heard of. And I just got into podcasting, and to attribute to you, get ready for your flowers. You were one of the reasons why I started my podcast, because when I heard your podcast, of course, I was listening to Rogan, but I had just started listening to Rogan because I had gotten the iPhone 13, which I'm holding here now, which is now archaic and antiquated.
Yeah.
But when I got it, it was like jump traveling into the future. I went from an iPhone 7 to a
Straight
13.
to 13, yeah.
Very sleek and modern. I felt like I was the shit. And I looked, and it came with Spotify subscription. So I was like, let me check out what this, and you don't need subscriptions for podcasts. I realized later, but I was like, it came with a bunch of free shit. Let me check it out. Let's see what Joe Rogan's all about. Let's see what all the fuss. Everybody was raving. This is when like the COVID thing had just settled down, when he's getting bashed about the whole dewormer shit, which was apparently not even true. But I listened to the first episode, was Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead. And I heard it, and I was like,
the earth sucks.
This is what they're talking about. I see. It's just a conversation. It's not total satire like Stern. Even his is just conversation, but you know, you got regulars, you got sound effects, you got clips. It's not, his is a radio show. Podcasting is a conversation. And it could be an interview, it could be a niche, but mine is like the best of both worlds. It's like kind of on-air
100%
/podcast. And I implement sound effects and whatnot. But yeah, then I went to your podcast, and that was like the second podcast I heard next to Rogan. And when I heard your podcast, I related to you more because yours is about like radio shit.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but when I tuned in.
When we started, for sure,
It was definitely before the 100th episode, which congratulations, because I know that came and went, but that's a big milestone. But yeah, I listened to it, and then you invited me on after I had started mine. So that was the first podcast I had been a part of outside of my own. But yeah, man, podcasting just opened up this world to me that was like exciting. Like I felt like I was just getting into DJing again. Remember when you first got into DJing?
Yeah.
And you started mixing, and you're like, wow, this, and you're just in your bedroom, but it was like, wow, this is amazing. You can mix records together. That excitement, it wasn't about the money or what clubs you can get to. It was, you know, you just wanted to mix records. To me, podcasting was like, I can do this, but I can do it really good with creative shit and really make it sound like spectacular.
No, when you came out with the teaser of your
Trailer,
oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to, just because I know like you said earlier, we're former coworkers, so I know your work, and I knew what you were going to do with your podcast. So when I heard episodes and you were doing exactly what I was imagining you were going to do, it was so refreshing, because you don't hear podcasts like this.
Right.
So yes,
it's definitely outside of the norm of podcasts. And it seemed like people responded to it because it was so outside of the norm. And because I'm a production guy, it's kind of like cheating in a way. Not that I'm cheating, I'm cutting corners. It's just like, I know audio so good that it's going to sound good. Even if it's garbage, the podcast is garbage, the conversation or the content is garbage, the garbage is going to sound pristine once I'm done with it.
100%.
Yeah.
Can I just bring up the title of our podcast?
Yes.
This Could Get Me Fired. I've been, it doesn't happen a lot, but people will always say, why'd you guys name it that? Isn't that a negative thing? Are you setting yourself up for disaster? So the reason why we called it This Could Get Me Fired, the way it started was Jizzo was doing the night show. I was doing the afternoon show at one point. And then we would just be in the studio hanging out during commercial breaks. And we would just have conversations, and we would always say, let's turn on the mics. Yeah. And, at a music driven station, you don't do long talk breaks like this. So we kept saying to each other, man, I wish we could talk about this on our shows. Yeah. And then he goes, yeah, but that could get us fired. And when he said that, we both looked at each other and we were like, that's the name of our podcast.
It's so good that it reminds me of like the name of a punk band, but for podcasting, like for radio guys and DJs in general, it reminds me of like, or even a good name for a horse. This could get me be fired. Coming in round 2, rounding the circle. It's sleight of hand is never going to get better.
Nice.
One thing you did mention to me about when I was on This Could Get Me Fired podcast, again, genius name, is when you were like, Sketch, are you doing all the work yourself? You don't have anybody helping you and the sound effects and all that stuff? I was like, yeah, that takes the longest. And you were like, when I listen to the podcast, I get anxious because of how much work you put into it. And that really stuck with me, bro, because I know that how, like Stern says, how many million man hours it takes. 100%. It doesn't take a million man hours. It takes about 3 to 8 hours for any given episode that I produce.
I believe I was once an imaging director too, so I know. That's why I said that comment, because I know.
Yeah, man. And I love how you're just like, it makes me anxious. And I go, yeah, I kind of pulled back on. You're like, good.
Yes.
I was getting nervous. I love how my work ethic makes you nervous. So good, man.
Yeah.
So good. So This Could Get Me Fired podcast. You've been going, what episode are we on now?
117, and it's our first episode for 2024, and I'm sure you haven't heard it yet because it just got released, but one of the first things we talk about is we shout you out.
No.
Yes. And it's sort of like the reason that you just said, so I'm kind of repeating it. We shout you out because when I listen to all your episodes, almost every other episode you bring us up.
Yeah.
So you always shout us out.
I attribute it.
Yeah. So we just wanted to thank you and shout you out as well.
That's
and
so lovely.
Let our listeners know to listen to your show. It's
a very lovely thing when you have camaraderie within the podcast community. Sure. It reminds me of Rogan with the comedy community, where everybody has each other's backs for the most part. And I like how podcasters, we can go on each other's podcasts, and it pisses Stern off. Everybody's just interviewing each other now. What am I doing here? Everybody has a microphone in their bedroom and in their basement, and they're just interviewing each other. And who's listening? Nobody's listening anymore.
Love it.
It's so good, man. And shout out again to Letty B, who you just got reunited with. You worked with Letty B, who's on Coast 103.5.
We never worked together.
But you knew each other.
I think I was already in Fresno. I was already doing radio in Fresno. So we're iHeart colleagues. I think we were at an event, and Kiss FM was there. And I think that's where we kind of met.
Yeah. I love when I bring people up to the station, and I go, oh, yeah, this, and they're like, oh, hey, and they know each other already.
Yeah.
There's something about that.
Yeah.
That you can't replicate that when you're just doing a podcast over Zoom. It's all about bringing that person down. And even when you were parking, you parked it on the other side of the street, and I'm all waving at you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and you circle back. I just like that. It's just like, you don't get enough. I don't see people that much because I work from home now.
Yeah.
And I think I'm becoming that old guy that another reason I have this podcast is because I like to talk to people, and I find myself rambling sometimes, or a lot of the times, but it's like I was really looking forward to just seeing you and going, hey,
yes,
and just talking shit and walking around the station, and just I miss that
100%
human connection.
100%.
It definitely solidifies that humans are social creatures, and even the people that don't like to see other people, I feel like they do, and I'm one of them. I don't really like people because they piss me off, especially in this city. But anytime I can find someone that's like you, or like Letty, or people that I like, Tony Sanchez, who just get me, and I'm in there and I'm like, I'm ranting. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And they just listen and they understand. Everybody else gets offended.
Yeah, we get it. We get it.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Cynthia in the house. Can we get Cynthia on the mic? Can we pass one mic over to her? I'll put you back on mic too. All right, there you go. Let's just say what's up to Cynthia. Cynthia,
hi.
Get real close to the mic, Cynthia, like you're karaoke singing.
All right.
Yeah. Cynthia is in taxes, right? You do tax work?
Yes.
And you are with John Magic. And how long have you been dating John Magic?
Yeah, it's been
7 months now?
7 months.
It's still new.
It's still new. Yeah.
We're still honeymooning.
So romantic. How is the honeymoon going? How is John Magic as a boyfriend?
Whoa. All right, here we go.
We're going in. Sketch-O-Matic Show podcast. Right now,
I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's a great boyfriend.
Yeah, he seems like such a nice, down-to-earth dude. Ever since, and you look the same. Magic, when I first met you at Power. You look exactly the same.
Impossible.
Except you've definitely, now I call him Slim Magic. Because he's slimmed down quite a bit, man. You've lost a lot. Can you talk about that journey of how much weight have you lost? Can we say that?
Yeah, 75 pounds.
And you did it, how? How did you do it?
So I always told myself, I'm never going to reach 300. I did not want to reach 300. And one morning in 2022, I was at 299.
Wow, 99.
Yes. The minute I saw that, I just, my mind had to make a switch. And I've tried everything just like everyone else. A friend suggested keto, and I was like, what's that? And they told me what it was. Basically, no carbs, no sugar.
Right.
I tried it and got over the hump, and it worked for me. It was something that worked for me. I know, sometimes people try it and it doesn't work for them. That's something also that I've learned about weight loss. People kind of just have to find out what works for them. But something that I've learned is it's definitely food, 100% food. And then adding workouts is also amazing. Yeah. So, that's...
You definitely dedicated yourself to it. From what I see on your posts, you have your routine. And it's solid. It seems like you got work, you got the restaurant, you got the DJing, but you go to the gym, you eat healthier, you live off the boulevard. I mean, you're living the American dream, my friend. You got Cynthia. Does she help you with your taxes now?
No, not yet, but that might be the next.
I mean, bro, you really hit the jackpot. Somebody to just go, no, I got it, honey.
Well, Cynthia's a personal trainer, so.
Wow. Is that how you met?
No. Well, sort of, right?
How did you two meet?
Kind
of. Sort of.
Yeah, kind of giving tips.
Yep.
Fitness tips.
But how did you two meet officially? Where did you meet?
She slid in the DMs.
Why are you putting me on blast?
I had to beat her to it.
All right.
Before she
exclusive.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so what? Dudes slide into DMs all the time. Guess what? I slide into DMs. All I get is seen. No reply. Not even a thumbs up or a heart. Nothing. If they had the middle finger emoji, I'd take that. In Instagram, at least. I don't think they have the middle finger
It's funny,
emoji.
we had a conversation like, how did we meet? And we had to scroll back.
Isn't that the best? Time travel.
Scrolling and like, you DM'd first.
Damn! Do you remember what she wrote? Do you remember what you wrote?
It was probably an emoji or something.
Yeah, I think she just put like the
heart eyes.
Maybe like a laughing emoji.
But I think what caught me, like my attention, was he posted a story or he posted something and it just made me laugh. And that's when I was just like, all right.
There it is.
Did you
Let me
like him?
shoot my shot.
Like that's why you DM'd him, because you were like, oh, he's cute, I like him. Or what was the thought? What was as a woman, what ails you to actually DM? Because a woman DMing a man is like a unicorn.
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen unless you're like a fucking celebrity, A-list celebrity, right? Like Jack Harlow, Drake shit. But I'm not saying that you're not a celebrity, but
No,
you know what I mean?
no,
Like,
I'm not.
You know what I mean? Like dudes just they don't get that kind of love. Even if you are a celebrity, most dudes don't get that kind of love. Something propelled you to do that. Can you elaborate, Cynthia?
I think it was just the joke that he made.
Which don't ask I don't remember what it was. So
he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
A sketch. I'm like,
well, you can post funny shit though. I've seen you post funny shit.
No, but I listen to every time you describe the things you go through in relationships. I'm the same as you, bro. Like no one was sliding in my DMs for years, and none of that stuff was happening. So I think things just
the universe
just aligned.
Is like, it's time.
Because I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting hit up.
Did the universe go, it's time? And then Q-Bert starts going,
This is what I love about this podcast, because now it's going to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cynthia.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you and Magic. Well, is there a possibility of Mrs. Magic happening? Oh,
I don't know.
Peer pressure.
We'll have an answer if you have me again on another episode.
Is that something that you're interested in? Because like I said about my own terrible experience with relationships, not saying that the women I was with were terrible, but it just wasn't either the right time. I wasn't secure. I wasn't sober enough You know, like that type of shit. It just didn't work for me. I feel like I've learned in my 46 years alive on this planet, like I'm an alien, that I'm just not good in relationships. Like I'm just not good. I'm good at being a friend to I have a lot of girl dash friends, right? But I'm not dating them and I have no agenda to date them, no matter how hot they are. I just sit there in my mind and go, God, she's so hot. And then I see her dating someone, I'm like, fucking lucky bastard. I just do that and I just keep it to myself. You know, I don't have to go out of my way to try to date. I've done Bumble, I've done Hinge, I've went on a few dates and it does lead to nowhere. It's just like a hookup, you know, and I don't want that. I'm too old for that. And I don't have, what do the kids say nowadays? I don't have the bandwidth. Like I'm a computer. I just don't. I don't have the energy to deal with drama because no matter who I go out with, they always come. This isn't about you or him, about me personally. The women that I try to go after usually come action-packed with issues that require tissues, right? And I have issues that require tissues. And if our issues that require tissues meet, it's like fucking nuclear. It doesn't go well. And I've just learned, just be alone. Am I an incel? Voluntarily. Like I'm like a monk. I don't sleep around. I don't drink anymore, which is another reason why I don't get all frisky anymore because I'm not at the bars. I'm not out meeting. I don't DJ anymore. I'm pretty much just isolated at all times. And I'm kind of just used to it now. I get a little lonely, but I'm always doing shit. There's too many good TV shows. I'm rewatching True Detective. You know, I'm playing Resident Evil 4. I'm living life. I'm reading a book, which is rare, but I'm reading that. You know, it's not audio, but I'm actually reading a book. A few books, actually.
So you're not looking?
No, I'm not looking.
I think that's good. I think you kind of have to be selfish and just take care of yourself. Yeah. I think that's where I was at in my life, where I was such a people pleaser. I was had super huge anxiety about relationships, but when I just stopped and kind of focused on myself, I know it sounds cliche, but
life.
Yeah, I just started kind of being selfish and what are the things that I want to do. I wasn't looking, same as you, and you know,
it just fell into the universe presented Cynthia. And vice versa.
I wasn't looking either.
Right. What was
at the time?
Longest relationship you've been in, Cynthia?
Longest 10 years.
Wow, a decade. I like saying decade. Yeah. And did you almost get married?
So no, that was never gonna.
Yeah, I got engaged twice in my life. What was the longest relationship?
7.
7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Minutes. No, I'm just kidding. No.
The comedy stylings of John Magic, live at Flappers in Burbank. But yeah, relationships are rough. But I'm glad that you seem to be on each other's wavelength frequency. You guys seem to get each other.
I think so.
I think so, and I think like don't lose
hope.
Yeah, don't
or
lose
my sanity.
Both. Please don't lose either one.
They're already gone.
But yeah, I think that's when it happens. Like when you're least looking, least expecting, or trying. It's just falls.
I know. I get thirsty. I do. When I meet a really nice woman, and there's a lot of them where I'm at, I'm immediately like, oh, I'm so taken by her. How young girls feel about Justin Bieber, or how young girls and guys feel about Taylor Swift, me included. Like if I meet a girl, that's all I can think about. I get absorbed and somewhat obsessed, but not in a bad way. It's just, I just want to make her happy. That's all I live for, is to serve you, my liege. And it's backfired so many 100%, times, so many times. And now I'm just like, cool, man. Nobody calls me. Nobody slides into my DMs. Every now and again, if I post like a good workout selfie or story, I'll get some love, you know, from some ladies, but they're taken. They're taken. They're just showing support. Oh, that's so cute. You look very happy, Sketch. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're in a good spot. That's the spot I was in, where I was okay being alone.
Yeah.
So you saying that, you're in a good spot. But I agree with Cynthia. Don't lose hope or anything. Yeah.
I think I'm okay with being alone for the rest of my life. Like I've said on this podcast, I can't imagine subjecting any woman to have to wake up to me every day.
Stop
It's brutal. It's brutal. I wake up, I look at myself, I'm like, bro, it's bad. Like, you're getting up there, man. I'm gonna have to start wearing turtlenecks during the summer because my neck, I have this camel's knee in my throat, which is known as an Adam's apple. but it's because I'm so skinny that it looks like an alien is trying to burst out of my throat. Like in Aliens, how they burst out, mine bursts out of and it can't quite make it. It's just stuck. And it gives me this voice, but I'm like, man, I just can't imagine a woman having to just look at that turkey neck as we go.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, because you're gonna find someone who's gonna be like
into that.
Show me that. Show me what I want to see.
I remember I dated a girl who did like it. I remember she was little. Yeah. She was a little lady. This is back when I was like in my late 20s, early 30s, and I remember I dated this chick, and she liked that I had a big Adam's apple, and she would put her little hand. She'd cup it. And she'd fall asleep like next to me, but she'd have her little hand on my Adam's apple, and I'd leave it there, and I'd swallow my own. You swallow your own saliva. This, right? And she'd go, "Oh, don't do that! It's scary."
That's such a random story.
I've never told that before. Shout out to Larissa.
There's people who like it.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, that's very sweet of you to say, Cynthia. I don't know. I'm cool. I don't have kids. I've been engaged twice. It didn't work out. Like I said, I don't have kids, but I have adults. Like I have to be a nanny to so many adults in my work. Like I should have been a nanny. I should have been Mrs. Doubtfire for real. The real nanny care sketch, because I'm good at it. Are you taking care of any kids? No, okay. I don't. I'm just being facetious, totally sarcastic. No, I don't feel that same drive to want to hook up or date anybody. I don't have it anymore. When I was younger, I would kill myself if I couldn't get with a certain girl. I'm like, if I don't date her, I'm gonna fucking hang myself. I don't care. Now I'm just like, man, she didn't reply to my DM. All right, well, I'm gonna get some lunch. And that fast, I've already forgotten about her. And for that, I'm kind of grateful, because I don't linger and think about shit too long anymore, except when it comes to work. Yeah, you're in a good place. You're in a good place, bro. Let me ask you, speaking of work, there's so many avenues to cover. And sorry, we kind of went on our relationship tangent, but thank you, Cynthia, for sharing. I appreciate you. Oh, no, you don't have to take the mic away. She can stay on if she wants. Okay. I want her to feel included because she's here.
I'm the camera guy.
Yeah, and she's the camera gal today. She has a very good phone. But as far as the work is concerned, which came first, you being a DJ on turntables or you being on air?
DJ on turntables first. Out of high school, there was two brothers that was DJing a classmate's graduation party. DJ Q and DJ Crush. 1996, I believe. They were DJing a graduation party. I saw the turntables for the first time, and I ended up meeting them, and they kind of took me under their wings and taught me the DJ game, and started going to gigs with them. And you know how it starts. You carry all the equipment.
Yeah, you're the roadie.
Yeah, you carry all the equipment, all the records to the house parties, to the weddings, etc. And that's kind of like how it started for me.
Damn, that's great, man. You actually learned on vinyl.
Yep.
You learned before Serato, right?
Yep,
for sure. But when Serato came out, that changed. It's like when the iPhone came out. It changed everything instantly.
100%. I think I sold my vinyl collection within that month after downloading Serato.
Do you have any vinyl at home? Any vinyl?
Not a lot, not a handful. Yeah. But no, I'm not a collector. To me, it was just putting space that I could put something else on there for.
Right.
So yeah, I wasn't
like
a collector.
Sneaker collection?
No, I'm not a sneaker.
Not a sneakerhead.
No.
Do you collect anything?
No.
No.
I'm pretty simplistic. I like my place. What are they called? Minimalist.
You're a minimalist?
Yeah.
You will own nothing and be happy?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't even have a bed anymore in my apartment, because my apartment's too small to have a bed and a couch, because I have one of those L-shaped couches. My ex-girlfriend gave it to me.
Okay.
And I've had it for over a decade at least by now, and I love it. I actually get better sleep on that couch than I get in my own bed. And I have a bed it's in the garage, though. I should just sleep in the garage, but it's a little too cold right now. I had it set up at one point in my apartment, and it just was too cramped in there. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to sacrifice the bed for the space and just sleep on the couch. And I'm just like, God, I feel like kind of a loser because I don't have a bed to sleep in, because I don't have a bedroom. But I'm like, I don't know. I honestly sleep better on that couch. Like I stay asleep until I wake up in the same position. I'll go to sleep on my right. I'm a right side sleeper. You know?
Yeah.
I'm curling. I'm doing the position so John could see it. Obviously, you people, all 10 of you can't see it, but I'm curled up on the side. You know, right side sleeper. One leg kind of pulled up to the chest, pillow between the arms. And I wake up like that. I'm like, damn, that's good sleep. I'm like you. I am a minimalist now. I'm content with the minimal things I have, including a relationship, I should say, rather.
Good for you, Sketch.
I don't know what the cost of living is in Fresno, but I would imagine it's a little bit cheaper than here.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? Am I right about
for
that?
sure.
Do you have a one bedroom? Or you said
no, I'm in a studio.
But is it like a loft?
Yeah, it's similar to a loft because
high ceilings.
I park the car in the garage, and I go up the stairs to my studio.
Oh, can I come up there?
100%. Yes.
I'd like to come up there and just hang out with you.
Let's go.
It's cold up there though right now, right?
Right
Does
now
it
it's
snow?
super cold. No, but you know, just like everywhere else, the mountains.
Yeah.
That's where it'll snow. But it's pretty icy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does the drive take from Fresno to here to Burbank?
Just a little bit over 3 hours.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's like San Diego route time.
I've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I could do a turnaround trip. No.
He does.
Cynthia, does he come drive down here to visit you?
Yeah.
Do you drive up to Fresno?
Never. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I have. I had a flight one time and it was delaying.
Oh, yeah.
It kept delaying, so I ended up just driving.
it.
Oh, you were going to fly to Fresno?
I was going to fly.
Can you fly to Fresno?
Yeah.
From Burbank?
It'll connect. I think the only
Connect?
well, if you go from LAX, you can go straight to Fresno,
Oh, that's whack. I have to go to LAX.
but
man.
not
Yeah.
the smaller. No.
That's whack.
Yeah.
Burbank is the bomb airport. That in Long Beach in Southern California.
Long Beach,
Long Beach
yeah.
Airport, Ontario. Ontario's kind of like LAX, but
So
less
speaking of
congested.
Ontario, a couple years. This was back in the days. An airline opened in Fresno and it made the news. And brand new airline called Frontier is opening, and they are the only destination is to Ontario. When I tell you, I was on that because I'm originally from Rialto, from the IE.
Right. Shout out to IE.
Yes, so that's how I would come home, is just take this flight from Fresno to the Ontario airport. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I was the only customer.
Solo flight.
I was the only customer. I would only see maybe one or two other people there every time I flew home.
They were the pilots.
And as you could probably tell, that airline is no longer in Fresno.
No longer. I've flown on Frontier.
Yeah.
Remember Virgin Airlines? Are they still
Yep.
around?
No, they're not.
They were the first airline.
That was one of my favorite airlines because it was like
a
party.
club in the air. Like they had the pink fluorescent lighting, purple, pink. It was like very futuristic. And they were the first airline, I believe. I could be botching this, but I'm almost 99% sure that they were the first airline that they wouldn't accept money. You had to use your card on the little computer behind the seats.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then there was no, like, the flight attendant wouldn't even take your card. You just had to scan it for yourself, order from the thing, and they bring it to you. Very sleek and modern. I thought that was cool, man.
When I was on tour with Joe, that was one of the airlines we took a lot. It was Virgin Airlines, yeah.
Man, good times. Do you still fly out of state to DJ?
Not anymore. No. There was a point where it was maybe twice a month. For years I did that, but no, I'm on the tail end of my DJ career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not as much, no.
Cynthia, have you been to his DJ gigs in Fresno at the Standard or any other club he's DJ?
You went to Switch.
Oh,
you went to Switch, and then you've been to my gigs out here too.
Isn't it wild that the club scene is just wild to me? When in retrospect, because I used to DJ all the time, and I was a road manager to DJ Vice for a hot second. I traveled with him, and I hung out with all the DJs in Vegas, all the scam guys and shit, Eric Deluxe and all them, right? And it was great. When I was younger, I loved it when I was drinking. But now that I don't drink and I see the club scene, I'm not knocking it. I think it's great. It's fantastic. It's just a whole different world. The girls that bring you the sparklers, and it's like, everybody's
bottle service.
Yeah, bottle service. And I'm like, man, those were fun days, man. But I don't have that energy. Not energy. I just don't have the interest to be like, well, I'm going to go get a table at the club and you know what I mean? Like post up. And I just don't need that in my life. In fact, I just don't want anything like that because I'm sure you can relate. Cynthia, you probably could relate to this too, is that anytime I do go out and I meet up with people I haven't seen in a while, they just end up wanting shit from me. It's not like, Sketch, man, it's good to see you, bro. How's life, man? Let me get you a drink. Oh, I don't drink anymore. Oh, okay, cool, man. And they just want to chat. It turns into, by the end, hey, man, so I got this artist. Or you think you get this one song to Big Boy? And I'm like, oh, Jesus. You know what I mean? It just, if I get emailed or if I open an email from that person I just saw, then there's a link and it shows that I've read it. I'm like, fuck. Fuck. You know, I don't like, do you get that? Do you being a DJ? Do you get people wanting shit from you? What about you, Cynthia? We'll come to you after?
No, not as much. No.
I want.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you want something?
I'm the one that's always wanting stuff.
Oh, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. We're talking about like just dudes, you know?
Well, I mean, just the music thing happens. Yeah. Can you play this song? Can you,
right.
How do you get a song played on the radio? Like, bro, I'm trying to work here.
Right. And what about when you are DJing at an event, right? Live on the turntables, even if it's just a chill spot where it's like more of a lounge, like a bar, right? I love those kind of DJ gigs.
Same.
It's not people really dancing. It's just like a bar and people are just talking, but you have the atmosphere going and people are liking it, people come up and you're in your zone and you're playing all like, whatever, like some old school shit. And you're in kind of a funk set, for example, you're in a funk set and then somebody comes up and they're like, play, I don't know.
Rich Baby Daddy.
Yeah. Play Travis Scott. Do you get that in Fresno? Is that happen all
100%? It does happen, but there's two styles. The first style is they'll come up and they're respectful about it, especially when you tell them, hey, it's not that kind of night. It's a 90s R&B night.
Right.
And then they go, oh, I get it. Then we'll just go back to the party and have fun. Then there's the other kind that cuss you out and tell you suck. That one is just annoying. Of course, as professionals, we're not going to do anything.
What about the third? There's
a third
which
one?
is a rare one. The third one is the guy. Mostly these are dudes that come up. They're pretty tipsy, but they're also tipsy, meaning they slide you like a $20 bill, and they're like, "Hey man, play that track again," or play another one, and they slide. Do you get tipped?
I do. I do. That does happen sometimes. It's not a lot, but it happens sometimes. And depending on the song, I'll be honest with them if I can't. If it's something that I'm not going to play, I don't take the money.
I was going to say I would just take the money, right? Just take the money and be like, I played it. Oh, I think you were in the bathroom.
There you go.
No, you don't do that. Cynthia, do you request songs when he's DJing live?
No,
none of that.
No.
Have you DJ'd, Cynthia?
No.
Have you any interest in possibly DJing?
No.
Outside of your tax work, Miss Cynthia, do you have any hidden talents that even John Magic or myself or all 10 people listening to this podcast would not know about you? Cynthia, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is...
What is it?
I don't know. This would be news to me.
This is a Sketch-O-Matic Show podcast exclusive.
Well, aside from the personal training.
Okay, yeah.
I like roller skating.
Do you know how to rollerblade?
Yeah.
Do you know how to ice skate?
I don't know.
No?
I haven't tried it.
Any other talents? Like, do you know how to, are you like double jointed, or do you know how to sing underwater? Something crazy.
I'm double jointed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See?
There you go. Thanks, Sketch.
We're learning something new. There it is. Double jointed is kind of hot, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
All right.
Not just with your fingers. You know how people could bend their finger all the way back?
Yeah.
Double jointed means you're very flexible.
Yeah.
That means very athletic.
I'll take
Mostly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you trained John Magic at all? Helped him in his journey and in his weight loss?
Mm-hmm.
She has.
How does one that is your girlfriend now help you lose weight? And in doing so, does it make you feel encouraged, or is there also a level of insecurity too?
No, not at all.
No.
No, I love all the tips, and even just a big thing that she does to help me at the gym is just my form. Like, no one's ever taught me the form I'm supposed to be using.
Right.
You just kind of just lift weights how you think you should be doing
until
it.
you're tired.
Yeah, right. So that helps a lot because, you could feel the difference. Yeah. And then
It's like golfing.
I mean, the biggest thing is the support. She's a big support.
She teaches you how to follow through.
There you go. Yeah.
That's very sweet. I'm very impressed with you two. And I'm jealous that John Magic had somebody slide into his DMs and I didn't. Very jealous. And she's a very lovely woman. You know, she's got her head on straight. She seems like she's from LA, but she's not jaded LA. At least from what my impression.
Anymore, she says.
Yeah. Was there Cynthia, is there any possibility that you would move to Fresno to be closer to John Magic?
No, well, the reason why I'm coming in to answer that is because I have plans to move back.
What?
Yeah.
What? Another
exclusive.
I
know. Wait, I haven't said that.
Exclusive. Have you said this on This Could Get Me Fired?
No, I haven't. No one knows about that.
By you saying you might possibly move back to La Lizzie, could that possibly get you fired? For real?
I'm hoping it gets me transferred.
Who are those 10 people that listen?
Trust me, I don't think they have any control. There might be one though.
I do have a plan in my head.
Yeah.
The plan is...
Let's hear it out loud.
I want the Sketch-O-Matic Show podcast to get even bigger, where, you have people paying.
Like sponsors?
And you're going to get so busy that you need an editor.
Oh.
I feel like...
And Cynthia's here. No.
I mean, me knowing you and how you work, even your style, because you know how radio people, you were an imager that a lot of radio dudes looked up to, or radio. When I say dudes, radio people,
right. Small circle.
Your name was the name that, come on,
that's insanity to me.
No,
I feel like the only name is John Frost. That's like the.
I knew you and Just Incredible first. You two were,
of course, yeah.
So when I started in Palm Springs, we were coworkers.
Damn.
What radio people do, we kind of emulate who we look up to.
Of course. I did the same.
When I was an imaging director, I listened to your stuff.
Wow.
So
we knew each other, but it's crazy to hear that other people who don't know me at all are like, "Oh yeah, Sketch." That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So that guy's an asshole, but he's really good.
So yeah, I feel like I could edit your podcast, and then that will get me moved back here.
Of course, I would totally do that. I would trust you with that, and I don't trust many people, but you're one of those people. Even though I haven't seen you in a long time, I would fully trust you with that because you get it. You just get it. It's either you get it or you don't. There's really no happy medium between the two. I think Busta Rhymes said that originally. It's either you got it or you don't. There's no happy in between.
I like it.
I think you have that trust. I have that trust in you, but you have that it factor of like, oh, he just knows what he's doing. My guy Chuck Nunley, who I helped get hired here on Big Boy Show, he's the most newest production member of our team. And when he got hired, they trusted me completely. I said, I vouch for this guy. I didn't even know that he had radio experience. I vouched for him because he just had that thing about him where I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's super hip hop, not militant, but he's very fastidious about hip hop and about DJing and about how he presents himself professionally, personally. He's just one of those guys. They call him Chuck the Old Soul, but he's younger than I am. And he's got an old soul. He's just, you know what I mean? He's like, it's almost like I've known this person before. It's like that simpatico chemistry that people can share without really seeing each other that long or knowing each other that long. And that's what you have.
I appreciate you saying that. Something for me, though, that I feel like I lack is confidence. And, with the anxiety that I go through, social anxiety especially, because if you think about it, I was surrounded by you guys when I was working at Power.
Oh, yeah.
But I was so quiet.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So even though I had these skills, like I knew radio,
right?
But no one knew,
right?
Because I just kept it to myself. Yeah. So I wish
you put yourself out there more.
I wish I put myself out there more.
But you know what? That's why, it's never too late to begin to put yourself out there as far as what you do. That's why I think This Could Get Me Fired podcast is one of those avenues. And I think, all the other things that you do have obviously flourished and evolved into you being more outgoing. And I think having Cynthia in your life really grounds you in doing
100%,
better for yourself.
100%.
Right? Yeah, she seems to have your back.
Thank you.
Oh, Cynthia. She's on her high chair right now. She's like a little kid. I pulled that chair from the My FM studio. I just took it. I went in there. I'm all, hey, who are you? Manny on the air? Pleasure to meet you, Manny. And she's like, I know you. Really? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I apologize in advance. And then I took the chair.
I'm taking the chair.
I'm just kidding. Manny's dope. No, I asked him if I could take the chair. I was going to ask you too. Let's see, where are we at here? Wow, 52 minutes already, gang. What's going on here? Like time traveling.
I've said it all. No, I haven't. No.
John Magic, you've said it all.
I like how we bring up these little Stern.
I know. I love Stern, man. He is the originator of all of this. This type of open conversation that isn't technically a show, but is a show. This is more podcasting, obviously, right? This conversation, but him being able to just bring in real life into the radio realm had never been done before. He was the first to do it. Even Rogan attributes that to Stern, is that podcasting in the format that it's taken in this conversation is all because of Stern, whether they know it or not, whether they're Gen Z or Gen fucking Alpha, whatever, it all came from Stern, period.
I know this is your podcast, but one of the questions I've been wanting to ask you is, did you ever attempt to try to work for Stern?
Oh, yeah. You know what's crazy? Yes, I did. And this is an interesting story. I don't think I ever told it on the podcast.
No, because I would know.
Yeah, you would know.
I would know.
And I appreciate you really paying attention. I did. And this was in the early 2000s. The Stern Show, when he was on 97.1 FM, the FM talk station out, he was syndicated out here, which is now KNX, but was AMP for a while, right? And I remember him saying, oh, we're looking for a producer, an imaging producer, or just a producer or something. And I'd gotten wind of that. So I sent in my imaging demo, and Stern ended up playing it on the air.
Wow.
Right? And I didn't really listen to Stern. I wasn't a Stern head until Sirius XM. I didn't really get into it. I knew who he was, but in some ways, Stern always kind of intimidated me. He scared me. Not in I'm scared of him, he's going to hurt me. It was just more of like that intimidation that I feel with Big. Whenever I was on the air with Big at Power, my heart was pounding out of my fucking chest. And I'd been on the air with him 100 times, but anytime I would come in, I knew there was going to be jokes and I was going to be the butt of the joke, but I still did it. And that's the kind of feeling I felt just listening to Stern made me anxious. How my sound effects made you anxious on my podcast. Yeah. I would listen to him and just, his face, the sunglasses, the hair. I was like, this guy. And people were like, so hardcore Stern. Yeah, I don't listen to anybody else but Stern. And that's when radio was like war. Like if you listen to another fucking morning show and you worked at another station, it's like blasphemy. How dare you?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But eventually that all went away and everybody's, kumbaya and everybody has each other's backs. But yeah, I sent in my demo to Stern, and one of these interns that worked at KDL 103.1 when I was working there, after it was in between my Power journey, right? I left Power for a while. I went to KDL and then I moved to Miami and then I moved back, worked at 100.3 The Beat. And then I went back to Power. Going from KDL to Miami, I sent in my demo and Stern played it, and this intern, and I didn't hear it, but this intern called me and she goes, Howard Stern played your demo this morning. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she was like, yeah. And she reiterated the story of what he said. And when I became a Stern head and I listened to him talk, I knew she was telling the truth, because she said stuff like this. She goes, yeah, he came on the air and he played the whole demo. And then after, he goes, wow. He goes, I was never good at that production technical stuff, Robin. And she was like, I know, geez, oh dear, that guy. And he goes, but Robin, this guy's really good. He's really good. I was never good at that technical stuff. And when she said technical stuff and the way she reiterated how Robin reacted, and this is years later, I didn't really believe her at first, but then years later, I heard him talking and they were playing demos of other people, and he said the same thing about somebody else's. Oh, that sounded really technical. Oh, guys, the million man hours of editing that must have taken. I don't have time for that, Robin. I just like to paint. And I was like, holy shit, he really played it. Like, that really happened. And that's when he was on terrestrial radio.
Right, so you never got to hear it.
I never got to hear it. And by the way, kids, terrestrial means of Earth. Okay? He played the demo, and at that time, I was looking for an imaging gig. And I would have moved to New York and all that shit. I would have done it. But I like the West Coast. I like LA. I liked living in California or at the furthest, like Nevada, if I had to, because it's the neighbor and my uncle lives out there. My sister lives in Nevada. But as far as moving nowadays, I don't know, man. New York is too crazy. You have to have a lot of money to make a lot. You have to make a lot of money to live just regular out there.
Yep.
The rent's sky high. All the places are 10 times smaller. You're paying $3,000 a month for like the size of a closet. Even Chris Wilding and Mamet talk about that they live in small places, but they're really nice. It's just like the rent's insane.
For sure.
So I did want to work for Stern, but I'm too like Gary and Stern's crew are loyal to Stern. I'm loyal to Big Boy in that same aspect. Like I wouldn't leave Big. I'm not going to leave Big. Even if I move out of LA, I'm still going to work for Big until the wheels fall off, until he's like, I don't want you anymore, which you probably won't.
I mean, you've become a staple producer for, imaging producer for Big. So
thank you.
Yeah,
it's been a while, man. It was a rocky road getting there. I'll tell you that much. And getting to where I'm at now.
Yeah, I love hearing your stories of just because we were talking off pod about when we were talking to Letty how everyone has these crazy stories of how they made it to radio. They're similar, but everyone is always a little different.
Yeah, and it's the same like objective of where we're at now and how we got there. But what Letty brought up a very good point when we were talking off pod is that the newer generations aren't going to be able to share those stories, I don't believe, because the radio has changed so dramatically in the past 10 years. Even BC before COVID, radio was already changing. iHeart is a different conglomerate in radio. It's just different because it's so massive and there's so many stations, so much talent. It's like a small city in this building. And between these two floors, I work with people I've been here for 5 years now. There's some people I haven't seen in 3 years and they still work here, but I never see them.
Right.
I work from home, they work from home, or they work here, but they're only here on certain. So there's always like this, it's like two ships passing in the night. You see each other, but you don't really see each other. That's how this is. Where was I going with this? The journey. Oh yeah, that radio is it's the newer, younger people coming up. They probably won't have the same. I said what's more likely is going to be like, so how was your journey to radio? It's now going to be, so when did you get into podcasting? Because I feel like radio is somewhat fleeting. Not saying it's totally dead, but there's so much to choose from now that the choice paralysis is overwhelming. Before, you only had a few choices. You only had a few stations on TV to choose from. If you had cable, you were making a lot of money. You're watching HBO? Excuse me? How much money do you make? Now, everybody has it. It's just like Stern said, everybody's doing everything. And that's a good thing, but it also comes with cons. Some people want that friendly voice in the morning. Like they want Big Boy, they want Cruz in the afternoon, they want Ellen K in the morning. They're used to those voices. They can't afford, Sirius XM, whatever it may be. But it's just not the same as it was when we were growing up. And that's the point. It's like, what's going to happen to radio? And this is my next question to you. And you as well, Cynthia, even because you're not in radio, right? So this is a good question to ask as somebody on the outside of radio looking in. Where do you see radio, John Magic, moving forward in the next 5 years with the evolution of AI, etc.?
Obviously, I've been in the business for 25 years and we've seen the decline of employees, of live local talent. So we're seeing the decline of it. But you brought up working for iHeart. I think, we're lucky to be working for a company that is embracing not only radio, but where it could go.
Right.
And the only hope for us employees is they take us along.
Right.
So, it's you had an episode a few episodes back where you talked about this, and maybe you could answer it for me because the way he said it
about Chris Booker.
The way he said it is how I feel. Where
it needs to be more localized. Yeah, like he said it best. Let's play the clip.
If FM is to survive, if radio or AM as well is to survive, it has to be locally based. It has to be. A connection is made every day in your local, wherever your frequency is. This whole tracking things in other cities, and it's just, I get it. Maybe there's not enough money to spread around. I don't know how the economics of that, I don't know what it really looks like, all I know is there's people flying around in jets around here. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be more emphasis on local listenership until radio fully, and not lip services, that fully commits to that in every market, not just Los Angeles, but in every market. It's bleak.
I played it on the 2023 wrap-up recap.
Yeah.
I felt like that was one of the best clips. Obviously, we had more jokes and it was more funny, but what he said in that segment, in that piece, was very, very important, at least to me as a radio guy.
Same.
And to you, to people in radio, that this is their bread and butter. They spent their entire lives trying to get on the radio. And then they get there, just like Stern, and I'm here, and now what? Everybody's fucking doing it. Everybody's got it. So I hear, and not only that, but there's also the voice tracking thing, right? Which is a good thing. You can be in different markets and still be in LA. And the first person to do that was Rick Dees. Okay? And when Rick Dees did it, he took a lot of shit for that. I remember Kevin and Bean from K-Rock when they were across the street, and they were literally across from where we're at now. The building we're at now was an empty lot right next to the 134 freeway. And Warner Brothers, the building where you guys originally parked in front of, that's where Kiss FM was at originally. And Rick Dees was in that building. And K-Rock was in the Browner building across the street from that. So they used to, and Rick Dees lived in Toluca Lake. I think he still has the house there. They would send one of their guys from Kevin and Bean to Dees' house at like 7:30 in the morning. And Dees would be coming out to come to the show, but he'd be on the air at the same time. And they'd go, hey, what's up? Rick Dees. Hey, Kevin and Bean show. So how are you here walking out and getting into your Mercedes and you're on the air playing Candid Phone? Go ahead. And oh my God, it was brutal, dude.
Yeah.
It was brutal. Skip forward to today. Everyone's
doing it.
Everybody's doing a show somewhere else. And it's the norm. It's what Vox Pro was practically invented for. Was for not only just recording phone calls and playing back on the air, but to voice track your show. So you don't have to be here and still get paid.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the whole voice tracking era, but localization is so important too, because if we even go micro, there are still concerts and shows happening in that city. Who's going to give away those tickets? Who's going to, help promote that specific show? Those formulas still work until they prove that those formulas don't work anymore, where local listeners are winning local things, then that's probably when radio is going to die. But those formulas are still working.
And then the other thing I was going to say about live too is, well, there's two things. And I'm going to go to you, Cynthia, is two things. It's like local that I feel like if a massive earthquake hits California, and then we've had one or two since the beginning of the year already, and it's only when this is getting recorded, it's January 13th. What happens if that show is just voice tracked and it was like an 8.7 earthquake that lasted for like 90 seconds? And they're talking about, oh, you can finally buy Taylor Swift now on Amazon Prime. And it's like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? Now, I'm pretty certain that they've already taken care of that, but you have to be live here to know what the fucking devastation is. If another riot breaks out, all these things need to be local. That's happening here, not CNN headline news. That's the problem. The other thing is to maybe Band-Aid how radio might be fleeting is I feel like bringing podcasts onto the air. Like, I'd like to, and who did I have this conversation with? It was off pod, but I was like, it'd be dope if we heard Joe Rogan like on K-Rock in the morning. And they just bleep the curse words. You know what I mean? No music, no going into a track. Maybe they play one song at the end of the hour, at the top of the hour, and then they go right back into and it's already pre-recorded. If you want a voice track, everybody knows it's pre-recorded. Why not just throw them on the air? Throw them on Jack FM or whatever it is. Do they still have Jack FM? I don't even know.
Yeah,
but I feel like it would work if we're voice tracking. That show is compelling and gets like 500 million fucking views a goddamn month. Why not just put them on the air? Why not put podcasts on the air like they have specialty shows on the weekends? Why not? Just censor them, of course.
Well, I think someone has to try.
Right. They did. They did at Power because they put Brown Bag on the air, which was a podcast. That was Letty Martinez. And she's on the air now in the morning. I think they were the first company to actually, at least for major market radio in Los Angeles, to put a podcast on the air that started as a podcast. It's like pioneering in a sense. Even though podcast and radio already exist, now you're mending the two together. That concept has now become a reality. I feel like that could start. Just like Rick D's voice tracking started the trend for everybody to voice track. Why not put podcasts on the air? Even if it's not on prime time, Even if it's like 4 a.m, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people like podcasts. So why not put them on the air, terrestrial radio?
Someone has to try it. Right? Like you said.
It'd be dope. It would just be dope. Because we could listen on our phones. We could Bluetooth it in and you sync it up in the car. But there's something special about hearing it live on the air. Like when I'm at home and I'm watching, like, because I'm a movie buff, right? I like to go to the movies and lift weights in there. No, that's a big boy joke. Sorry. I watch a lot of TV at home, and I watch HBO all the time. And while I'm working, I'll flip on a movie to see what movie, and I just like the atmosphere. Even if I've seen the movie, I just like knowing that I'll turn around and go, oh yeah, I like that part. I like that, and I'll keep working. It just makes me feel less lonely, I guess, which is kind of sad. But in doing that, watching live television on HBO, because I have the subscription on Amazon Prime, and they run live movies. So I get choice paralysis. I'm like, I don't know what to watch. So I'll just flip on and go, oh, look, oh yeah, Training Day's on. Just put that on. I like that because it's chosen for me in a sense. Like you're DJing, you're playing the music. It's not just all requests when you're DJing. There's something about that music hitting you live as opposed to you playing it yourself.
For sure.
Right? It's that element of surprise.
You're creating an energy.
Right. And that's how I feel about live anything. Live television, even if it's a movie I've already rewatched, it's on live. Putting a podcast on live on air, and you can hear that compression. You can hear the radio elements coming through your car stereo, or even if you're listening on an app, it's still live. It's just different. And I feel like that's something that should, a next evolution that should be taken, at least with iHeart. Put a podcast on the air.
Yeah, I mean, with me voice tracking, my shows, it makes me think about, man, remember when we used to do this live?
Yeah.
When was the last time I did a live shift? I haven't for years.
Man, I miss those days.
Yeah.
Bro. I do.
But
I enjoy Big when he's on the air and he takes live calls. Ding dong. Hello. We got John Magic. Hello, John. Hello.
Yeah.
And then John, turn your radio down. I like that.
Yep,
I
same
like that.
here.
Or if they curse, and you hear the dump button. Oh, he dropped the S-bomb.
Same here.
It's that you don't get that with podcasts. I even feel like Joe Rogan should take phone calls. He should take live phone calls. Why not?
Yeah,
people be calling those lines all day and just hear let's hear it. He's never done that. He's called people on the show where he's put them on speaker. Hey, you're on the podcast right now.
Yeah.
Put it up to but let someone who you don't know call in, because that would be fucking compelling. Just like Stern does, and he always gets mad about the callers. He's like, every other show seems to have callers that their phone works. Why is it when they call our show, they sound like... I love that.
I love how he just, he just hangs up on him.
He just hangs up on him.
Or
he'll leave him on, or they'll be working. John, can you hear me? What's John doing? Well, it sounds like he's working, Howard. And then... Well, this is the only show people call in and they're doing something else.
Yeah.
And he'll leave them on just talking as he's talking over what they're talking. It's fucking insanity, but he does it so well.
That person's sleeping?
Yes.
Where someone was sleeping on the phone and they made a bit out of it.
Yes.
They just said, let's just keep...
Oh, man, their production is so good on that show, bro. It makes me jealous when I hear it. Cynthia, just to circle back to you, radio. Do you listen to the radio, or are you a consumer of your own music? Do you listen to podcasts? What's your cup of tea?
A little bit of everything, but on the way to work, I do listen to the radio. I actually listen to Brown Bag.
Oh, you do? You're a fan of the Brown Bag, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I didn't know that they were a podcast before the show,
I found that out after they got on the air. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
But again, I don't really listen to anything other than Big Boy, Rogan, and Stern. That's all I really have time for. Everything else... Obviously, I listen to your podcast, but you see, those are the in-between podcasts of the big three that I go to all the time. Because I listen to Big, I gotta edit stuff, and then I go to Stern because he's only on 3 days of the week, and then I listen to the wrap-up show, John Lieberman, and then it's back to Rogan, and then maybe Bill Maher, your stuff, maybe some health podcasts of what I shouldn't be eating, and I eat it anyway, that type of shit. With you, Cynthia, though, you listen to Brown Bag, you listen in the car. Estimate time spent listening, which is known in the radio world as TSL. How long do you listen for?
To Brown Bag?
Yeah, on any given day.
Well, I listen every day.
Yeah, but I mean, for how long? Like in segments?
Well, personally, I love the show. So when I wake up, I turn it on the app, and then I'll listen to it. get in the car on the way to work, listen to it, get to work, and then I pop on.
You're loyal. You're a loyal listener.
It's a really good show. So, but
P1.
P1 demographic.
But I think it's what you're saying, the whole, they get the callers, you know, they have like the whole group and they get to like roast each other and you feel like you're part of.
Yeah, you're hanging with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
To start the day and you just, you know.
Yeah, those are your friends in a sense. Like,
in a sense,
your friendly voice in the morning and they get you through the traffic. That's what radio's supposed to be. Have you ever called in the show yourself?
No.
Would you?
Probably. Yeah. I've called to win tickets.
Oh, have you won?
No.
Oh. Is it weird, John Magic, to have a girlfriend that listens to the competition?
No.
Does that make you at all a little agitated?
No, it's sort of like what you said earlier about everyone is we're all colleagues in this radio game.
True.
So you're right. The war era has ended.
Yeah, because if all the Jimmys in late night and Stephen Colbert's can be at each other's house on Thanksgiving and shit, there's no reason why us radio people can't have each other's backs. Back when radio was war like that, it was almost like there wasn't enough allotted space for to enjoy other things, right? Just like with comedians, Rogan says this as well, where he's like, some comedians feel like there isn't enough allotted space for new comedians to come up. Like they're taking over your spot. And it's like, that's not true, man. This is not true. But I can understand that perspective to a degree. It's just a perspective. Some people are just insecure like that. Even though they're bomb comedians, they're just insecure. Like actors. All of them are insecure mostly to some degree. That's what comedy and acting. And I think even radio DJs, there's a level of narcissism that comes with DJing and wanting to be on the air because you want to be heard, you want to be seen, you want your music to be, your DJing to be listened to. I've just gotten to the age now where I'm like, if you hear it, you hear it. You don't. I'm not worried anymore. Like, oh, you didn't listen? Well, I'm hurt now. Yeah, I've gotten to the age where I don't even want to celebrate my birthday anymore. My last birthday when I just turned 40, I turned 45 in January. I'm going to turn 46 this month, January.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. See, now I make it seem like I'm fishing for birthday things. But I'm just like, my point is I don't plan on posting anything trying to, you know how people go, thanks for all the birthday wishes, which is to me, you're fishing for birthday wishes. Like I know people message you, but when anytime I see it on Facebook or Instagram,
we know what you're doing.
It's mostly Facebook. I see. Thank you for all the da-da-da-da. And then everybody has to chime in, and I do that too. I don't fish for that, but I mean, if I see a birthday on Facebook, I'm immediately like, oh, HBD brother, or young lady or whatever it may be. But I just don't plan on doing that this year. I feel like I'm about to be 46. It's enough already. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a man. If you're a woman or a kid, people, they celebrate. But dudes, it's just like, eh.
Yeah.
We get the shit end of the stick on that. Unless you're DJ John Magic.
No.
And then, you celebrate. Because DJs always have huge birthdays. The girls with the sparklers. Woo!
No, I didn't do that anymore.
No.
I got booked for clubs, but that's another big thing that's happening and why I'm more on the decline of my DJ career is because friends are not showing up anymore because of our ages.
Yeah, they got families.
You shouldn't be coming into clubs. Right. So that's what I'm seeing a lot more is I'm going to the clubs to DJ and you're not there to share the experience with your friends.
Right.
You're working.
With strangers.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, definitely trying to keep things more low key. So I agree with you. I agree. It's just the age we're at. Yeah.
How old are you now, John?
We're the same age.
We are? You're 45?
No, I just turned 4. You got to add the just turned because it was just a few or
December.
Oh,
your birthday passed last month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I said happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Because Instagram.
47.
Wait. You're
47?
What?
Wait, right?
What year were you born?
Yeah, no.
We're gonna have to do stern mathematics here.
Now you guys are making me think.
Yeah, let's see.
Yes, I'm 40. I just turned 47.
No shit.
Is that right?
What year were you born?
76. Am I doing the math right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
That's crazy, bro. You're 47. Dude, you look... I can see a little of the Clooney gray coming in on your beard, but you don't... Your face, though, the age doesn't look... Well, is it the Asian thing?
The Asian thing. It's the Asian thing.
It is, huh?
But here's the thing about the Asian thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to look like I'm gonna look the same for a couple more years.
I think for the rest of your life.
No, because this is happening to my dad. I'm gonna look young for a few more years, and out of nowhere, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna look like Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi looked hella youthful too, though, and he's whooping everybody's ass at like 65 or whatever. However, what's his name was Pat? What was his
Pat Morita.
Pat Morita, yeah, man.
Yeah, so I mean, I get it a lot, but it's not only me; it's all Filipinos. My mom is 73. To me, she looks the same.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, she looks
the same, right?
Filipinos, the Mexicans of the Pacific.
There it is.
It's very dope. Yeah, I love that. I have a lot of Filipino friends as well, man, and they are truly some of the biggest families I've ever partied with, man.
100%.
It's wild, bro.
Yeah.
There's something about the Filipino and the Mexican culture that they're so similar.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I forgot where I was going with this. We were talking about, this is another damn you weed moment, by the way. Hit the bong sound effect.
Bong hit.
I don't even know. Do you ever trip out on that, John? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you didn't go crazy. Like, you didn't party like I did, even though we're both DJs.
Right. I think my anxiety had a lot to do with that. Meaning, when I first started drinking as a 21-year-old, and I got that Asian glow. The thing that happened to me was all my friends started going like, "Look at Magic. Look how red he is," and I didn't like that attention. That's why I didn't want to drink anymore, right? Because I didn't like the attention of people pointing at me saying how red I was turning.
Yeah.
So no, I never got too crazy for me on that end.
Do you smoke weed at all?
No.
You never, been a weed guy?
No, never been a weed guy. I've had a couple edibles.
Yeah.
But no.
Is weed legal in Fresno?
Yes.
They have dispensaries?
Yes.
So great.
We do.
Just in case.
So come through.
When I come up there, present my license.
Yeah.
I'm here visiting.
You talk about that era of when things were going crazy for you. We met in 99. Was it during, because I never saw you.
We met before all that. Like, I started partying and drinking hard, like probably 2003 or 4. Like, that's when I started drinking like Jack Daniels, and I started doing blow. And that's when ecstasy was very popular, and I was doing a lot of E, bro. Like, a lot. Almost every weekend. It was just like, it was almost too much freedom. Like, I would go to work high, doing shit at work just to maintain the high so I didn't crash and burn. It was fucking brutal, bro. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? It's equivalent to the movie Get Out. Remember Get Out by Jordan Peele?
Yeah.
It was his first big blockbuster, right? And Kaluuya, who was in the movie, I forget his first name, the actor, a black gentleman.
Yeah, who did he play?
He played the main character who went to the house, and, the lady's trying to, she hypnotizes him, and he goes to the sunken place where he's fully conscious, but he has no control. He's just in this like, he's drowning, and he sees everything that's happening, but he can't like get out of it. That's how alcohol was to me. It's like I was fully conscious, able to work, able to drive, do everything, but I had to be drunk. It was brutal, man. I had to be constantly drinking alcohol, or else I'd go into full, like, not convulsions, but I'd start shaking so bad, I thought I was going to die.
People can die like that.
Get a little closer to the mic, Cynthia.
People can die like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen it. Liver failure. That's where it becomes so dangerous. You're so dependent on it biologically that it's like getting off of heroin or something. I've never done heroin, by the way, but...
To get to a lighter side of that same realm we were talking about, me meeting you, do you even remember how I got the job at Power?
I don't remember how you got the job, but I remember seeing you in the studio and going in there and chopping it up with you. And we talked about Magic. And so I remember when we were in the morning show one time, you came in to fill in during the midday, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
For Nautica de la Cruz. I think she was out, and you came in because you were already doing weekends, and then you came in. We had a lot of people there. It was like 10 in the morning. The show was over.
Yeah.
And we started doing card
Magic,
tricks. And that was like my real like first intro to you. And then I didn't see you for years, like decades.
Well, you know why? Because they took us into a meeting and they said, we want to introduce you to this thing called voice tracking.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't have to come in live anymore, which kind of...
That was the beginning of voice tracking.
Yeah, at first I was like, cool. Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to pay you less because you're putting in less hours. But no, I won a contest.
That's how you got on?
I won the Power 106 Wanna Be a DJ contest.
For on air?
For on air.
Wow. How did you do that? How did you record a demo?
I recorded a demo with the help of one of my best friends, Mr. Lau, who's a DJ, Albert Lau, who knew Echo, DJ Echo.
Yep.
Echo kind of quarterbacked the thing where he said, just get me the demo, I'll turn it in. And I got a call that said that I won a 1 hour shift.
Let me ask
on
you,
Power.
Speaking of on air and all that, we talked about life and relationships and Cynthia and how you guys met and whatnot, but we didn't really touch on the beginning of like the radio career, like how, because you got on Power by the demo in the contest, but were you doing radio before that? How did you even get on the radio to begin with? Besides Power, what was the very first radio gig?
So from you know how I said I started as a DJ, you obviously meet friends that are DJs as well. Right. I started hanging out with DJ Delvin, some other DJs that introduced me to somebody at 99.1 KGGI in Riverside.
Yeah.
And I became an unofficial intern to Bobby Sato. I don't know if you remember, he was a night jock. He went by BobbySato.com. And the reason why I say it was an unofficial intern is because I was just a kid hanging out in the studio and he would order me to do things.
Now that's what I'm talking about. What Letty and we were all talking about, right,
Yeah.
Cynthia? When we're in the Coast 103.5 studio. We're talking about how the generation now, what you just said illustrates that point perfectly. That you were just hanging around and suddenly you're part of your unofficial intern, who interns don't get paid, but it's the experience was fucking priceless, dude.
100%.
Being in the smell of the studio control room. Mostly every studio in the country, all over the world, smell like that. It's a radio station smell. It's hard to explain. It's like a hotel smell. When you walk into a hotel, it's that smell.
That's a good way of putting it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's its own scent. You come into a radio station, it's like, oh yeah, this is one of those stations. You know, it's just professional. It's fucking clean, somewhat. Yeah, but yeah, so you get in as an unofficial intern, and but how does that transpire to you getting on air for the first time? Did you get on the air with Bobby?
He did. He eventually taught me, took me under his wing, and he had me read listener messages. That was my first time on the air, and yeah. So
do you remember your first break?
I don't. But it was. I just remember it was read this. Like
how
he
old
would give
you?
me. Oh man, 23, 24.
Wow. Young Magic.
Yeah.
Where did John Magic, the name, originate from?
Everyone always has their DJ names, how they got their name, where you name yourself and it never stays.
Can I take a guess on why Magic?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you'll probably guess right.
Other than wanting to be a magician in our younger years, or doing magic in our younger years. I also feel because you're such a Laker aficionado that Magic, as in Magic Johnson.
That is part of it. Ooh. Magic Johnson was one of my favorite players growing up.
Detective O'Matic.
Because I was a fan of the Harlem Globetrotters, and when I saw Magic Johnson play for the Lakers, it looked like a Harlem Globetrotter.
It looked like magic tricks he was doing out there with that ball. I went to plenty of Kings games. I went to a Clippers game, but I've never been to a Lakers game in that building.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Have you been, Cynthia?
Yeah.
Since we've been dating, I've been taking her.
Yeah? Wow, that's a good boyfriend. You get good seats?
I mean, I'm paying for them.
Yeah? Are you a premier season pass?
No. So yeah, I just
you sit next to Jack Nicholson?
No, I look for whoever has
what's up, Magic?
Who's selling their cheapest seats, and I try to get the cheapest ones.
That's dope though, man. There isn't a bad seat in the house in that arena, man.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Even if you get the nosebleeds, you could see everything. I guess that's the beauty of it. It's like there isn't a bad seat in the house. It's like an IMAX theater.
Yeah.
The stadium seating. It's like even if you're sitting real close to the screen, it's still a good seat. It's still
100%.
Yeah.
It's all energy.
But is that how it came to be, the Magic name?
I mean, to be honest with you, that was more coincidence that he was my favorite player. My first DJ name that I named myself was DJ Diggable because of the Diggable Planets.
Yeah, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite songs when I started DJing. So I named myself that, but it never stuck. No one ever called me that. I think it made a flyer once, one of those like warehouse parties. At the same time, I was working at a magic store at the Ontario Mills Mall, and people would call me Magic Man. there goes the Magic Man. What's up, Mr. Magic Man? And it just kind of stuck. That's what people were calling me. So it was DJ Magic.
Mm-hmm.
But when the radio thing started becoming more bigger in my life, I always thought radio DJs had a first and last name, and that's how I said John Magic.
It's a good name. All these Johns.
Well, it's come to the point where you're a good friend if you call me Magic. It's almost to the point where I don't even respond to John as much because everyone calls me Magic, where it's just become a norm.
J Magic.
Yeah, they're there too. Yeah. So
yeah, even when Cynthia, when he was like, I'm going to bring my girlfriend because we're going to go eat right after. I hope that's okay. And I was like, of course, Mrs. Magic. Did he show you that? Did he show you that I wrote Mrs. Magic? Oh, see? I hear wedding bells. Just because I inserted them.
There. I love it.
John Magic, what else can we touch on here? There's also a couple more questions I wanted to ask you just in regards to coming back to LA. We touched on that earlier, but if you do come back to LA, do you want to continue to do B95 in Fresno, or would you want to work at one of these stations here at iHeart Los Angeles? And if so, which one? I'm guessing Real 92.3?
You know what? I'm at the point of my career where I've done so many markets that just being in the radio industry still would be a want.
Yeah.
So I could even be behind the scenes where, I do less on air now.
Like in programming, you mean?
No, not even that. I'm more in the marketing promotions department now. So I've gotten to do like you said, I've worn so many hats in the radio industry that I can do anything.
Yeah. What is your official titles at iHeart Fresno at B95? What, because you said the promotions, is it just on air?
Marketing, promotions, and part-time on air is the last 3 years of my radio career. But before that was all programming.
If you do come here to LA,
yeah,
fingers crossed, it'd be great to have you back in Los Angeles, bro.
For sure.
And you'd obviously move in with Cynthia. Get a key to the apartment.
That's the plan.
Get a copy. Go get a copy made together. Very romantic at the hardware store. Is that happening?
I mean, for sure, goals. So those would be great goals to meet.
What if Power came back and said, "Hey, we want you to come back here. If you move back to LA and you just to do part-time or even to work in behind the scenes, would you do that, or would you stick with iHeart?"
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, finally a good question.
That's tough just because of how I talked about iHeart kind of is expanding and embracing the future.
Yeah.
I would have to do like a lot of research and it's all about, I got to see the longevity of it.
I know job security in radio is also, Do you think AI eventually will take over all of radio?
I don't know if it's going to take over. I think for now, there's going to be a lot of experimentation and it's going to be all for funsies. Just for fun, let's just see what it can do. And, people are creatures of habit and they'll know, or will it be to the point where they won't know? I do see a lot of cool things AI is doing. I don't know if you guys had the iHeart meeting yet, but we had a iHeart meeting about using what AI page we can use.
I think we had one of those.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Even just, you know how they tell us to post on your socials. And you could even ask for what caption can I put for this particular thing? I mean, anything to make it more simpler, these little things that you could use AI for.
It's just years away within our lifetime that we're going to see something where AI is involved in politics or in Congress, not just in helping us get from point A to point B or, what should I ask my podcast guest? It's going to be so much further. I'm not going to say it's going Terminator, but it's definitely going to be a point where we won't be able to live without it. I mean, we can't live without our phones
100%.
now. We're just a hair away from the phone being implemented into our bodies, which I think is kind of like cyberpunk cool. Like they had the glasses, they have those Alexa Echo glasses now. Have you seen the commercials for that?
I have.
I mean, I'm like, where are the earpieces? How's she talking? What is she seeing through the lenses?
Something that Mr. Chalk said that I remember when Serato was coming out, and it's just stayed with me. I'm never going to hate on technology because if you hate on technology and you're not on board, you're going to get left behind.
Oh, totally. You're going to sink. You got to adapt.
I'm here for the ride, and yeah, AI is going to be a big thing. So let's just work with it.
Yeah. Cynthia, let me switch it over to you real quick. As far as taxes and AI, is AI being used in the tax realm of people's taxes these days in 2024?
Not that I know of.
No, it's all human.
Yeah.
Really?
It's I mean, if...
Other than TurboTax, which I want to ask you about. I want to ask because I have a guy named Randall Guido, who's my tax guy, right? Guido sounds like a mobster. He's Mexican, though. Real nice guy. I plan on having him on the podcast to talk about. He owns his own business. I've been going to him for years. Reason I'm saying this is I plan on asking him this, what I ask you. What's your take on people doing them taxes themselves at home or versus going in?
I think it depends on the level of your income. So if it's a simple return, it might be easy to just do it through TurboTax, and you're not going to get like a fee, because every office probably charges a different fee to, But I work for a forensics accountant.
CSI?
Yeah, tax. So we try to keep crooks out of jail, basically. And in that sense, I guess I would say it's better to go to someone so you don't fuck up your own taxes, and then you need to get them fixed.
Right, by a human. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I go to Guido, man.
Yeah.
You have to pay for TurboTax, the program, right?
Yeah.
You have to pay for it. It's not free.
Right.
You got to pay, and I don't know how much it is, but I don't trust myself. I just don't. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all like alien talk to me.
Yeah.
And then every year there's new policies or things that you can get away with, or different. So it's good to speak to someone who can give you like tips and tools where you can get a little bit more income here, or
Right. Well, it's very insightful, very enlightening. I plan on continuing to go back to my tax guy. I don't trust him.
I have a tax person.
Maybe at some point AI will be good enough to just do that, and I think it'll happen in our lifetime. I just still feel I want to keep this guy in business. Yeah. I like this guy. I pretty much love this dude because he's been there for me. He got me out of my IRS situation so like flawless. Well, not flawlessly, but he did the logistical legwork to do it. Having to call the IRS themselves. I got into a lot. I owe a lot of money. I'm like, I feel like fucking Wesley Snipes over here, except I don't owe that much money, but I owe enough to make it go, God damn, I'm going to be paying this shit for like most of my adult life. And it's
frightening.
It is frightening. The IRS can come and just take them. Oh, this is my point. I owe them. I've been paying them for so long. I feel like I'm the IRS's like best friend now. Like I call them. They're like, oh, what's up, Christian? Yeah. John Magic, Cynthia, you've said it all.
No, thank you for having us.
Man, it's we got to wrap it up. I know you're going to go to lunch and stuff, but I'd like to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah, let's not Hollywood it though, where let's have a part 2.
Yeah,
I'll come
when
back.
you come back. I'd like to be on your podcast again at some point.
For sure, 100%.
Hopefully in person instead of over Zoom. Yeah. I'd like to just get up to Fresno just to come hang out with you, man. Just to change up the scenery.
We'll take a trip to Yosemite and we'll walk around.
Yosemite.
You still haven't taken me to.
Oh, no, I want to take sketch first.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't want to be the reason for you guys breaking up over Yosemite. Take her first, man. But I do love hiking. We should go up to the Hollywood sign where I go up to Wisdom Tree. Have you been up there?
No. Yeah, well, didn't you talk about that? You've done that before?
Runyon.
Yeah, Runyon is like the very trendy hiking path that a lot of people from in and out of state go to. But the Wisdom Tree path,
I've heard you talk about that.
Not the Griffith Park, but the other where I go is kind of more Indiana Jones. It's more Runyon, more like medium Runyon level, where it's like you're going to get winded halfway up. And you're going to want to stop. Okay, and it's cool because that means it's working. But once you get to the very, very top, it's. I'm like, bro, they could charge money for this. The view, you could see all the way to Palos Verdes. You could see the SoFi Stadium from up there, bro. Wow. On a clear day. It's amazing. And then you hike another mile or two across the mountaintop. You get to the Hollywood sign. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'll take you up on that.
Let's do that, man. All right, John Magic, Cynthia, I appreciate you both.
Thank you for having us.
Love you.
We love you.
I hope you love each other. I hope you guys get married. And I hope you do his taxes.
One day.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
The Sketch-O-Matic Show.
Too much information and shit, man.
Shut your mouth, essay.
Okay, bye.
This could get me fired.
It reminds me of like, or even a good name for a horse. You know, this could get me fired. It's coming in round 2. Rounding the circle is sleight of hand. It's never going to get better.
Nice.